at Grand Farm we also want to do research in agroforestry. So what is agroforestry? Agroforestry, for me, my own definition for agroforestry, and I try to keep it as wide as possible, is bringing wooden structure back into arable land, into arable field farming. So this is my definition. So bringing back wooden structure, bringing back bushes, bringing back trees into arable field farming, into arable land. This is especially important here in our region, because we are here near the River Danube, and the River Danube area is famous for high wind speeds. So we always get some wind. Maybe you even hear some noise on my microphone here. And one here, especially Absdorf, this village was restructured very early after the Second World War. So the small field, the tiny fields, the diverse system was restructured into bigger units, bigger fields. And at that time, nobody knew about how important biodiversity is. So they just cleaned everything up and then divided the land new for the farmers, and the farmers could work on it much more efficient with the bigger tractors and so on. Nowadays we know we have a loss of biodiversity, we have a loss of structures, and this is especially true for our area here. So what we did is we cooperated with the land authority of Lower Austria, and they offered us to plant a wind hedge here. And so we have, as you can see in the background, we have 2 rows of trees neighbored by 2 rows of bushes, and the trees are about 26 different species. They are planted very close, and to provide wind protection as soon as possible. So this was planted about 6 years ago, and what we see here is again we are looking for this systemic approach. So we do not only want to see the wind protection, but we also look for other benefits. And what could the benefits be? So first of all, we have the wind protection. So this is maybe the most important thing here. But what is wind protection? The scientists say if this hedge grows up like 10 meters high, then we see a reduced wind speed to this area at a width of approximately 100 to 200 meters. So for every meter the wind hedges grows up, 10 to 20 meters more area in this direction has reduced wind speed. And reduced wind speed means that we have reduced evaporation. So we know it's getting warmer, also the soil is getting warmer with more productivity, so we need more water. So what we really need to do to adapt to climate change is reduce our evaporation. So this is really something, wind hedge is something to adapt to climate change. Besides of adapting to climate change, we are also mitigating climate change here. So all the trees, all the bushes, they are conducting photosynthesis. So they are sucking up, the leaves are sucking up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and the carbon is then stored in the branches, in the stem, in the roots, but also in the soil through the fluid carbon pathway. And so we are mitigating climate change, we are adapting to climate change. But agroforestry also helps to stop the loss of biodiversity at the same time. So this is really something important, because all of these trees, all of the bushes, they are flowering, and then they support beneficial insects, they support all the natural pollinators like butterflies, like wild bees, like all the bees and so on, and the bumblebees, for example. But they are also supporting the insects on the ground, like ground beetles, which are hunting for pests and diseases in the nearby market garden. So, but even then, it's even more, because we have rare bird species here and other animals that are really rare and which you cannot see in a field anymore. So, mitigating climate change, adapting to climate change, stopping the loss of biodiversity. So we already have 3 benefits coming from agroforestry, and there is another one, economic benefit. So we can collect, we can harvest fruits here in the agroforestry system. We can put beehives in here. We can put laying hens in here. So we can also use this system really to have an economic benefit for the farmers, for the growers in the landscape. And then there is a landscape effect also. So one of the reasons why we put this system into place was for me personally, because when I retire I want to walk with my dog in the summer in the shadow of the agroforest, and I can go and can have a hike when I'm old and retired. So there you see there are a lot of benefits coming from agroforest, and later on we can even use the wood. We can use it for burning or for other purposes, and for construction, for example. So another benefit coming from agroforest. So our agroforest is not only used for all the benefits that we have, but we also can transport and we can travel through it. It's one of the nicest experiences in the morning when you come with your bike. You go through the agroforest and you see the hares and the birds and the bumblebees and the butterflies living in here, having a habitat, but also a resource for food. So when we installed the agroforestry system, at the same time we used the neighboring field, the neighboring area for implementing flower strips. And we did it in a specific way, so we didn't use a lot of tillage to seed the flower strips, because we knew when we till a lot and we prepare the soil for seeding, we also mineralize a lot of organic matter, and therefore we have a lot of nitrate, and then competing weeds would overwhelm the flowers that we seeded. So what we did is we used the roller crimper method instead. So we grew here in this area, we grew 5 years ago, we grew a rye crop, a cover crop, and then in spring we rolled the rye down. We rolled and crimped at the same time. So at the front of the tractor we had a roller crimper mounted, who just bends over the rye crop, rolls it down, and then it crimps it every 10-15 centimeter the stem, so there can no longer be a transport of water, for example. And then at the back of the tractor we had the seeder, and we sliced in very shallow the seeds of the flowers. And as we can see now it's autumn, there is not a lot of flowering going on, but you still can see the diverse mix of plants that we have here and in this area, and that works very well. We didn't do any management here, as you can see. We do not even mow it. We try to keep it as it is till the end of the winter, till the early spring, and then again we just roll it down, we bend it over, so very gentle, try to avoid a lot of disturbance, because this is also important for the insects who stay here during the winter, for the eggs, for the larvae, for the caterpillars, which may hide in one of the stems of the flowers. And then in May, and you can see that now on the video footage that we shot in May already, you can see how beautiful this looks, and how much flower, how much diversity this is. Again, this is important for stopping the loss of biodiversity. This is important for supporting bumblebees for supporting pollinators, wild bees, but also ground beetles, for example. And further on, from the ground beetles, from the animals on the ground, the spiders and the caterpillars, so all the animal protein that is needed for other species, for young birds, for example, to pick and to feed on. So this area also works for us in the direction of functional biodiversity. So as important as the barn owl is to catch the mice, as important as the bats are and the falcons to catch the pests in the air and to feed on them, as important are these areas, because they support the predators, they support the pollinators, and these predators then can go into the market garden, into the vegetable, into the arable field, and then they can hunt on aphids and on other insect pests that we have to work on. So this is one of the management strategies that we have that allows us to follow a zero pesticide strategy. And that's even helpful because you have to imagine if you have like, let's say, aphids in your field in early spring, and then you spray them, so you kill the aphids and you think you are successful, but then at the same time you reduce the food source for your predators. So you cannot gain a healthy population of predators who feed on these aphids. So first you have to allow a little bit of pests so you can thrive, you can support your predators, and then they can work and they can make sure that your pest pressure is never that high that you have to manage it with a pesticide. So this is the kind of strategy. If you start spraying, if you start killing the pest, then you at the second step you're also killing your predators, because you provide no food for them, so you never can establish a good population of beneficial insects. But if you don't do it and you provide habitat, you provide food, then they can grow and they can move from the flower strips into the vegetable area, into the agroforest, or they can move out from the agroforest into the vegetable areas. It can help us and are part of our functional biodiversity.